The U.S. federal court system is a hierarchical structure with 3 main levels, designed to interpret and apply federal laws and ensure they comply with the U.S. Constitution. It has the power to check and override actions by both the executive, president, and legislative, Congress, branches through judicial review. It has the power to declare laws or executive actions unconstitutional. Let's review the structure of the U.S. federal court system. 1. The U.S. Supreme Court is the highest court in the United States. It has the final authority on constitutional and federal legal issues. The U.S. Supreme Court consists of 9 justices, 1 Chief Justice, and 8 Associate Justices, who serve for life unless they resign, retire, or are impeached. It hears cases that involve constitutional issues, disputes between states, cases involving federal law, and appeals from lower federal or state courts. 2. There are 13 appellate courts, also called circuit courts, which review cases from lower federal courts. These courts do not hold new trials, but review legal and procedural errors in district court rulings. A decision made by a circuit court is binding on all lower courts within that circuit. 3. There are 94 federal district courts that exist as trial courts for federal cases. These courts handle federal criminal and civil cases and cases involving the Constitution, federal laws, or disputes between citizens of different states. It also handles cases where the U.S. government is a party. Next, let's look at how the federal courts override the executive and legislative branches. A. Judicial review of executive actions. Courts can rule that executive orders, agency regulations, or presidential directives violate the Constitution. For example, in the case Youngstown Sheeta Tube Company v. Sawyer, 1952, the Supreme Court ruled that President Truman's seizure of steel mills during the Korean War was unconstitutional. Courts can issue injunctions, legal orders, preventing the president or executive agencies from enforcing certain policies. Example, Trump versus Hawaii, 2018. Courts reviewed challenges to the Trump administration's travel ban. B. Courts have the authority to strike down unconstitutional laws. If Congress passes a law that contradicts the Constitution, courts can declare it void. Example, Marbury versus Madison, 1803. Established judicial review, giving courts the power to strike down unconstitutional laws. Another example, Brown versus Board of Education, 1954. Overturned racial segregation laws by declaring separate but equal unconstitutional. Courts interpret vague or disputed laws to determine their true meaning and application. There are limits on judicial power. The judiciary cannot enforce its rulings directly. The executive branch must comply. Congress can pass new laws to override judicial decisions if they do not violate the Constitution. Congress can also amend the Constitution, which the courts must then follow. Congress can also change the number of Supreme Court justices, court packing. Justices are appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate, giving the other branches influence over the judiciary. Conclusion. The U.S. federal court system plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance of power by overriding unconstitutional actions from both the President and Congress. Through judicial review, it ensures that laws and executive policies align with the Constitution, preserving the principles of democracy and rule of law. Hopefully, this video informs and influences U.S. citizens about the importance of voting during all elections, especially since individual states' constitutions mirror the U.S. Constitution. Let's actively participate in all